Do you suffer from slow scales? Are your arpeggios just so slow and never seem to get better? You might be suffering from lazy thumb syndrome. Hey guys, today I want to talk about something which I jokingly will call the lazy thumb syndrome. Obviously, this is not like a real illness or syndrome, it's just a made up term. And what I mean by that is that we have very active fingers, but one finger, which technically I guess is not a finger, but either way, one of them is often neglected. And because it's the thumb, we usually just place it on the keys or just use it almost like a stick, just the same way that some people might use the fifth finger as a stick. But the 2 and 3 and 4 are usually, it's more clear how we need to use them. But the lazy thumb syndrome is a situation where I've noticed with some people, also some of my students, and sometimes myself too, that the thumb is actually not active enough in its role, especially in terms of preparation. So, when you are playing scales, let's just pick randomly, you know how the thumb actually has to go under. And in many cases, so I will just literally make up notes here. But anyway, imagine you have to play 1, 2, 3, and then another time 1, 2, 3, right? And if you were to do this movement, you see how the thumb is just way too late, right? And this would create a stutter or a kind of accent if we were to play fast. Because the thumb just rests around and then goes to the next position. This is just one example. It's the same for kind of arpeggios and such, If you're wondering why is my arpeggio still not good enough, why is it still slow, or why does it have weird accents, or why is it like not rhythmic, and all of these things, in many cases, it could be that the thumb is simply not preparing enough. So now I'll show you exactly what I mean and how to practice it. So let's say, for example, you practice arpeggios, right? One of the problems would be that if you want to do a legato arpeggio, that the thumb is just playing and then not doing anything. So it needs to become from a lazy thumb to an active thumb, which means as soon as it's done playing, already, you see, tucking in and going to the next position. I don't say that you have to go already to the F here. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, at least you need to tuck it in and move it in the general direction of the next note. I think this is huge. I mean, if you just compare the two, then you can see clearly that the thumb here has no active role, and all of a sudden there's going to be like a shift from the hand. Instead, if we use the active thumb, I tuck it in, and of course if you do this very often and very clear, and while you're doing it you're thinking about it, then of course it will become automated. So you don't have to think about it at some point, because you will tuck in the thumb automatically. And it's the same thing for scales too, If you have a scale and you practice it by clearly tucking in the thumb and going with an active thumb around, at some point you're going to automate it, and you're going to save a lot of trouble, especially with tempo and with accent and with evenness. I think those are the three main things you're going to improve with an active thumb. And one more way that I would use the active thumb is just, you can take any kind of passage you want, it doesn't really matter. But either way, if you think about the thumb, right? Don't think about it like as a stick or something like this. No, you should always, no matter what it has, for example, in the left hand, we usually have like, and so on. We usually have the top voice being part of the melody. And here it's important that instead of using the thumb like a stick, that we have to also have to employ the same kind of phrasing and the same kind of quality of tone to the thumb. So instead of using it only as a kind of extension of your hand, you should use it more actively. So be aware of what movement you do exactly with the thumb, and don't just plonk it down like this. I think this is also some people do this mistake because they assume the thumb only has one way to play, but you can actually be a bit more flexible with it, and you can control more the tone that you want to create with the thumb. But of course this is also true for the right hand. Yeah, if you want to play the bass of the right hand or the first note, then of course it's important that you give a little bit of extra input. So this is lazy thumb syndrome explained. I hope now you can use the thumb in a better way, in a more active way, both with preparation, but also in the sense of when you're doing melody notes and stuff like this, that you use it with more feeling and not just plonk it down. If you know someone who suffers from lazy thumb syndrome, you can send them this video and I'm sure it will help them out.